Hello, and welcome to Shatter Our Souls with Novaria. You know the drill by now. We're tackling the 150cc version of Mushroom Cup on Mario Kart Double Dash. Now, I want to take a step back from just talking about Mario Kart today, and I want to look into the overarching themes and story of Mario as a whole. And the fact is that Mario Kart is probably not canon to the main Mario timeline. Excluding a couple moments in like the Mario Bros movie where they are playing Mario Kart, so to speak, to get from A to B faster than Bowser's army does. There's a small detail that I think gets overlooked a lot. And that's the fact that despite how many times Bowser has kidnapped Peach, he is still getting invited go-karting by Mario about once every 5 years. And you gotta give Mario credit for aiming for the, what's the word for it? Believing in the betterment of Bowser, but unless this is some type of alternate reality or alternate timeline, chances are Bowser hasn't gotten any nicer over the years. So that begs the question of, of why. My belief actually ties very heavily into the ending of Super Mario Galaxy. At the end of the game, after Bowser is defeated, a giant black hole causes more or less the end of the universe. And the Lumas take the chance and all flood into the center of said black hole, wiping it out and effectively starting anew. This is what I believe ends up becoming the future of the series. Every single future, every single deviation that doesn't really make sense has a reason for existing in the form of, oh, yep, the world was reset thanks to Mario Galaxy. Oh, yep, Bowser's issues got the better of him yet again. Okay, here we go. And so, I think it's kind of interesting to note that Mario as a whole has a scapegoat in that regard, thanks to Mario Galaxy. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I question whether this Bowser is much better than the one you see in the 2D and 3D series as far as who he is, but that's neither here nor there. What I do know is that we are currently on lap 2 of the second race of Mushroom Cup, Peach Beach, on, I believe this is Isle Delfino, which, not too bad. The Piantas seem to be treating this pretty okay, and overall, it's been a pretty simplistic round. Admittedly, 150cc has shown a little bit of a heavier hand up to this point, being able to knock me back to second place a couple times over the last couple of videos, if my memory serves accurately. So we're looking at I suppose, a deviation from what has been the norm up to this point. But don't let that hold you back. We're hitting Baby Park. Now, if you like Baby Park, you and I might have some issues. Let's be honest. Baby Park has always been one of those courses that I've both loved and despised, and it really depends. On one hand, I'm usually the individual driving if I'm playing multiplayer, so all I get is the chaos and none of the item throwing, or I can't add to the chaos of it most of the time. And the remade version of the course in later versions of the game don't really do the original justice. So I personally am kind of meh on Baby Park, but It's not to say it's a bad course, just one that I personally haven't had the same enjoyment of as other individuals. Okay, guys, you can stop with the shells. Anywho, that's my 2 cents on this particular course. But I gotta say, the Baby Kart at least is given the true NASCAR experience. And that, I think, is a pretty good thing to have. Okay, Baby Mario, okay, this is bad. Third place going into the final lap, there is next to nothing we can do to catch up. Unless some miracle happens like a random mushroom. And with that, first place at the end of the race. Totally planned, 100%. So we head into the final race. Dry Desert. And honestly, each of the courses in Double Dash, I think, do something that is somewhat unique as far as how the game had come to this point. Recently, I opted to just go through all of Mario Kart 64. I figured, why not? Play the old game, get a little sense of nostalgia, and maybe a better sense of what the future of this franchise held. And yeah, it did quite a lot for my perspective. Every single course in Mario Kart Double Dash has some form of a gimmick. I'm not saying that there's a whole lot to a lot of the Double Dash courses. You have Luigi Circuit, which on 50cc is just a standard figure 8. But by the time you reach 150cc, it opens up the center lane to make it more valuable and more chaotic. And so, each course has something. Mario Circuit has the Chain Chomp, it has a Chain Chomp, it has Piranha Plants, it has Mushies, and all of this is kind of a quote-unquote gimmick that is meant to make the courses less mundane, less consistent, less average. You have, of course, the chaotic 7-lap race of Baby Park, and you have Dry Desert, which, for all intents and purposes, is a fairly standard mundane course. Where it differs, I find, is in execution. Throughout the entire course, you have the Pokies, which are acting as, shall we say, semi-mobile obstacles. You have the tornado, you have the giant piranha plant in the pit in the center, or at the halfway point. And so, what starts as a very simplistic course as far as what's expected can, occasionally, open up to some rather interesting side situations that crop up. Anywho, with that, we reach the end of the Mushroom Cup. And honestly, we've only got one more run through this before the finale, so to speak, of the main series. But if you like what you see, drop a like, leave a subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Until then, be good to one another, and have a good one.